You taking a strap? I'm strapped up.
Devin, what was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 245 of the Strap SZN podcast. I'm your boy Kam.
I'm your boy Flowz.
And as always, guys, you know where to find us on the streaming platforms. You want to head over to our Instagram and our Twitter pages. And there's a link in the bio of both of those pages. Now take us to where we're situated at streaming-wise, where you can get our content. Audio, we've got the usual suspects there, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, etc. And then visuals, YouTube channels there. And also short form content, TikToks there as well. Yeah, wherever you fancy, however you want to consume your content, make sure you run over to that link, those links there and on those pages. And yeah, do what you got to do. Flowz, hope you're good. Recovered from from what we witnessed yesterday. Yeah, man. We're looking forward to it because look, man. Yesterday we was treated to a cracker of a fight. Let's not beat around the bush. Them man, Eubank Jr. and Benn, that I'm referring to, listeners. It was a fight that obviously me and Flowz were quite vocal about, not really caring about, not really. We weren't too happy, right? Or enamored. You know, the rest of the public, you know how they've bought into the rivalry, you know, this legacy fight, etc., etc. Me and you have been like, it's not a great fight. Whatever it is.
Not a fight we wanted to see.
Not a fight we wanted to see. Not a fight we really cared for. So, yeah, man. We were just treating it kind of blase, right? A little bit. So, of course, as it happens, these two warriors would then go and drop a absolute blasic on our head top, bro. Right on our heads. Right on our head top.
Oh, dunked on us, man.
Bro, hey, posterized. Hey, fair play.
Yep.
I hold my hands up. Fair play. Bro, that fight was so enjoyable. So much so that mid-fight, me and you, the biggest critiques of this fight, were they saying, yo, run it back immediately.
Bro, I clocked. We were standing up. We were clapping.
Brother.
Yeah. That was cinema.
Absolutely. It goes to show you, sometimes it just, the fight might not be great on paper, might not be what we want, but you never know, man. The entertainment factor will always be king. And that was a bloody entertaining fight that we saw yesterday between Eubank and Benn, which I do have to applaud for both warriors because what we were seeing in there, bro, was insane. First of all, I want to say that before the fight happened, we have to talk about the reunification.
Yes.
Of father and son. Because, brother, even me, I was gassed. Obviously, you've got Adam Smith on comms, so obviously we know when he gets excited, he brings the excitement out of you as well. So, what's that line he said straight away? Is it, he's here! So what's happened? No, what's happened is literally because this was during the Yarde and Arthur fight, I think, which we'll talk about. Or no, it wasn't even the Arthur fight. It was actually the fight before that, the Liam Smith, Aaron McKenna fight. And obviously the rounds finished in one of those fights, and the cameras then cut to a Rolls Royce pulling up. And Aaron Smith's gone straight away, who's this? Who's this showing up now? Open the door. Senior's just there in the doorway, looking, smiling. And obviously Alan Smith is then going crazy. You hear the crowd go nuts, and that's why he's going with it. He's here! Wow!
Reunited.
And then the cameras, as Eubank Senior's come out the rolls, the cameras pan to Eubank Jr. coming around the corner. And this obviously, they've staged this perfectly. It's like WWE.
Yeah.
And they've met each other, eyes locked, and then hugged. Right in front of the cameras, obviously. And then Eubank Senior's then pointing, smiling, blah, blah. It was nice to see. I would like to assume that they just patched things up quite quickly before the fight, obviously. Because obviously before the fight, we didn't discuss this last week, but Senior made... I don't know if we discussed it last week, did we? Oh, we did a little bit.
Actually, yeah, we did.
Yeah, we touched upon Senior's comments, but calling the fight a disgrace and how he would never go. So seeing that yeah, it looked like their beef was real. So seeing them you reunite was nice to see. And yeah, even me, I can't lie. The pop from the crowd was crazy, and even me, I was happy seeing that. But let's talk about the fight itself, bro. Ring walks, first of all, were great, I thought. What do you think of the ring walks? I thought the ring walks were cold.
Yeah, yeah, with the live musicians there.
Live orchestration, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I thought Eubank won the walk
Agreed.
race.
Agreed. Yep, man. You always still Dre is a classic. So
Yeah,
hearing that, yeah, it was cold. Absolutely cold. I give you back the winner for the entrances for sure. Man, I think from jump we knew it was gonna be an entertaining fight. From when the referee is telling these two to touch gloves, they're
yeah,
refusing, and he's shouting at them saying, "Touch him now, touch." That's how I knew this fight's gonna be hilarious.
yeah. He ran down Eubank. Eubank tried to cut
Yeah,
out. He was like, "Nah, come back."
come back, touch gloves now. So I respect that. Um, Look, I expected Ben to start fast. We know what Conor Ben kind of brings. He's always been a bit wild, and he doesn't. There's no fear in that process with Ben. We've been seeing this. That's why he's got quite a few, remember, of those like shocking first round knockouts because he goes and sits down and every punch is from mean intentions from the get go. He doesn't do no fear in that process. He's gonna try and swing from the heels, and that's what he was doing. And Eubank, to me at first, was looking a bit tentative. First round, he was fighting behind the jab, and even though Ben threw a lot more, Eubank was definitely landing the cleaner shots. So I gave Eubank the first round. I'm there thinking, okay, I expect Eubank to now activate, take it seriously, and then because to me, I'm like Ben, if you're going to be throwing like this all night, not only going to get tired, and there's no way you can throw like this all night, but two, you're clearly leaving yourself so open that Eubank can easily exploit these openings when you're swinging so wildly. Bro, what then transpired was crazy. This fight's turned into a barnstormer. But the biggest talking point for me was the fact that we've seen Conor Benn hurts Chris Eubank, wobble him. I can't remember what round it was. Was it round three?
Yeah, round three, I think. Yeah,
Round three. He's caught Eubank flush. Eubank, you can clearly see, wobbled. Went back, took a step, wobbled back, looking dazed, confused. Conor Benn's launching at him, throwing the kitchen sink at him, and Eubank it's a survival job. Bro, I said already, Eubank, we have to kill you for this. How is Conor Benn wobbling you? But maybe, bro, he's got more pop than we think. To be fair, he was stopping guys before, but obviously that's when we felt like that's when he pissed hot. So we don't know. But yeah, he was the fact that he was able to worry and trouble Chris Eubank with his power kind of said a lot. Because into myself, I'm there saying, boy, bro, at this stage, this is third, fourth round. Eubank Jr. could lose this fight if he doesn't wake up quickly, because he's been overwhelmed here by this guy, and this guy has now shown that he can hurt him, which is crazy to me. Yeah, man, were you shocked to see Eubank hurt the way he was in that third round?
disappointed. I wouldn't say even shocked.
Disappointed. Okay.
In the sense that we calling him not to struggle, not to get
uh-huh. Don't go life and death
don't
is what we said.
don't go
Yeah.
down for death. Don't struggle. You have to be convincing. We'll get onto that in a second. But
Uh-huh.
um, yeah, getting rocked and wobbled. I thought, damn, you've let the smaller man come up, buzz you. Like you're both exchanging. I think he caught. Did he catch
Yeah.
you back in that exchange as well?
Did Eubank catch him? Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're the one who's come off worse. Like to me, the power started lying with Eubank across the fight.
Ben.
I made yeah Ben.
Ben,
Sorry,
yeah.
yeah, it started landing with Ben because you could say Ben's sitting down on every shot and throwing every shot with mean intentions.
Yeah.
He's not trying to just tap you or jab you even. He's going there crashing it. But yeah, it's. I'm thinking, how are you gonna let the little man be buzzing you and looking at the power punch in there? Because Eubank's a puncher too.
Yeah.
He strips people too. He's got power.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was more like, yeah, Eubank, what you doing? What's going on here?
I
Um,
mean, up until that point, bro, if you was almost a blind person, you would think that Benn was the bigger man in there. He is the one backing Eubank down, pushing him, sort of like trying to wrestle with him and stuff like that. He was the
Yeah.
one almost getting the better of him in that game. And I'm there thinking to myself, Eubank, what are you doing? You need to wake up fast because
Mhm.
you're losing rounds here. And it's not a good look as the bigger man. Yeah. But I was so sure, Flowz. I said, look, okay, cool, all well and good. There's no way, though, that surely Conor Benn is going to keep this up for 12 rounds. Because he is really exerting a lot of pressure and a lot of punches here. Surely he will slow down, all right? But, and he did slow down in the end, which was, like I said, it made sense to me. But, yeah, man, I mean, his engine was crazy, bro. Like Ben's engine was serious yesterday, like very, very serious. And even when he didn't slow, even though he slowed down, but it wasn't like a dramatic fault slowing down. If that makes sense, he was active pretty much throughout the entire fight, and that I have to apply credit to. I have to give credit to Ben for that. So yeah. But Eubank started to pick it up, right, Flores? What round would you say that was?
Um, I think he had a good round after the round he got wobbled. I think he had a
Mm,
better round.
yeah.
So from round four,
Hmm.
he started to pick up, and I think the middle rounds is where he started to get in his groove. Maybe from round six, I think it was six, seven, maybe.
Yes.
He's really started flexing on Ben.
Treating him. Hmm.
Yeah. And then there was a later story after that point where it just became a barnstormer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that middle portion, he really started to flex on Ben, making him miss, making him look silly, catching him. Um, but in Ben's credit, he never took a step back. He never looked hurt. He kept coming forward, which was
So yeah.
interesting.
So that middle portion of the fight where, to be honest, the fight was won for Eubank because that's when he really started to, I think, one, show levels because that's one thing I expected to see from him showing levels. Even in the way they fight, Ben being so wild and a bit ragged and being so open, a better fighter should easily exploit that, right? And exploit these gaps. And middle portion, Eubank started to do that, which is good. And as you said, he got into a rhythm, and Eubank is one of them fighters that once gets into a rhythm, he's he's good to watch. Like he gets into a little flow, he starts feeling himself a bit too much, like you said, sometimes it causes mistakes. But yeah, and then he started to really take the piss a little bit with Ben in terms of how easy it was, how predictable Ben's offense was, and how easily countered he was as well. But at this point, even though Eubank is winning the fight at this point, and I'm giving him these rounds, he's looking better. Before I'm saying to you, brother, has Conor Benn's chin always been this good?
Mm.
Or is Eubank not a power puncher? Because he's getting hit flush. And as you said, he's not taking it. This is Ben. Ben's getting hit flush on the chin, to the body, on the chin, wherever. And he's not taking a step back. He's still throwing 5 shots after getting hit with a huge shot. That's why I made a joke and said, bro, I can't lie, they're going to have to drug test this guy again. Because what I'm seeing doesn't make any sense. How is a middleweight cracking you with these best shots? Someone who's not pillow fisted. I'm not going to call Eubank Jr. pillow fisted. He's powerful enough. He stopped middleweights and 168 pounders as well. But Ben is walking through these shots like nothing and still throwing loads of shots. So that's how I think the fight got dragged back into a barnstormer because despite Eubank hitting Ben with his best shots, Ben is still coming back with 5'6". And as we've seen, Ben's 5'6", some of those hurt. So it again got dragged into a crazy barnstormer towards the end, which made it even more of a joy to watch, right?
Yeah, for sure. I just want look. I said I'll come on here and I'd crash it at both of them, crash it at
Yeah.
the loser, and they essentially turned us to believers because I went from saying it's not the fight we want to see to
Hmm.
I'm calling for they have to run it back immediately. I don't want to see the fight
Hmm.
anyone else.
Yeah.
If I'm keeping it a bug.
Hmm.
Um, this this is their level almost. This is their box. Staying there, run it back because it was competitive.
Hmm.
Now I don't know. Did you score it?
Um, I think I had similar to the judges, but yeah,
yeah,
I didn't really score it properly. But I left there thinking. Remember, I said, yeah, Eubank's won this. This is
yeah,
definitely Eubank's win. Yeah,
yeah. That's how I felt. I thought Eubank won. I think,
clearly to me, yeah,
yeah. Other than Ben showing us that, look, he can buzz him, um, he can take his shots. I think it was. I'm not too. was happy with the scorecards. I felt
yeah.
the middle portion,
Eubank ran away
Eubank
with
was
it.
treating him, and
Mm.
then Eubank threw a caution to the wind in those last few rounds and just decided to scrap and go for it. It worked Ben massively, completely outworked him, pulled
Mm.
him, just that Ben didn't fold. So credit to Ben, but yeah, I think Eubank really won. Not, I wouldn't say comfortably, but in terms of scoring, he was the clear winner for me.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Um, Eubank definitely was the clear winner. Um, those last couple rounds were just amazing to watch, though, just in terms of just phone box stuff between both guys, not taking a step back. And again, I was just marveling at the fact that Ben was taking all this and coming back like he showed Supreme Dog, which I kind of knew he had, but I just didn't think he'd be able to take shots from an actual bona fide middleweight, albeit a drained middleweight. You know, I do maybe think the weight drain, we didn't talk about it, but yeah, Eubank Jr. did
Yeah.
miss weight and he had to go through, he got fined, I think, like half a mil. Um, and he tried to get the weight off. He was only to get he missed weight by like 0.05 pounds or something really
Yeah,
small,
sounds
apparently.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Something tiny, which is why they began onto Hearn because apparently it was Hearn that enforced him having to pay the fine, even though it was such a small amount. But yeah, he did seem a bit drained. Um, talking of that quickly,
Yeah, let's talk on it.
we discussed it, right?
Yeah, let's
And
talk about it.
my first initial thought, to be honest, was that, it was odd to me. I was surprised that he didn't make weight, considering that he has been making 160 pounds for a while now. And yes, I'm
Yeah.
aware that as you get older, it becomes a lot harder for you to make weight. Um, we lost Saw him out in October last year, and he that was against Zeramel. And I went back and checked what he weighed in for that, and he weighed in at 159, so even like 1 pound under the 160 pound limit. So nothing is said to me of recent that he struggles to make 160. Um, and then I thought to myself, maybe he isn't taking this seriously because it's Conor Benn, doesn't rate the opponent, so he didn't take the camp as seriously as he could. Who knows? But there was an element I felt of staging to it. I think you echoed this as well,
Yeah.
because when after they'd made weight, he didn't seem too like whatever. He seemed to be quite chilled or whatever, and then we're seeing him attempt to get the weight off where he's lying in like the sauna or like the heavy bags and stuff to make him sweat and stuff like that. And there's cameras set up there. So I don't know. I don't know if this was. I'm there thinking, was this added to make an element of drama to the fight, right? And I think you said the exact same thing, right? As well. You said that too, right?
Yeah. So I saw the clips and I'm like, the cameras all set up there, but you've released the footage.
Yeah.
I think he showed himself in the bag, he showed himself coming out, and like you're showing this to us, and you said, yeah, almost saying, and the public has responded to it saying, this is dangerous. This
Yep.
shouldn't be happening. This is
Yep.
killing himself to do this. First and foremost, you signed the contract.
Mhm.
You agreed to everything that you signed. You agreed to something worse last time. You agreed to 155 or whatever it
55.
was last time.
Yep.
And now you agreed to 160. You should
Hmm.
have moved up to 168 a long time ago. But you're the one who took this fight. No one forced you. You've made a big deal about former slave contracts and how people aren't your bosses and whatnot, and
Hmm.
you have ownership. So you signed this. You're making big money for this. And then to add to that, like you mentioned, I'm sure your last two fights were 160. Well, against Liam Smith was at 160.
Yep.
No, yeah. Sarah Metal was at 160.
Yep.
So all of a sudden now it's showing everyone that look, I'm killing myself to make this weight, and they're draining me and all of this. That's on you. If that's the case, that's on you. You had a decision to make. make weight. You
Yeah.
made it before.
Yeah.
You made it before. If you couldn't make it, don't sign it. So
Yeah.
that's on you. You're not gonna look. I understand, but all fighters have to make weight.
Yeah.
All of them have to make weight. So this is nothing new
Mhm.
to me.
Yeah.
It won't get any sympathy from me in that sense.
Yeah. Me too, to be honest. I was like, I don't know. It just so I can't. There's something I can't place my finger on as to why he's made it. But he's made literally. My first thought was, this is the first time I'm hearing of him struggling to make weight at 160. He's been at 160 the last few fights and been fine, and even came in at under the limit. And I remember the fact that he agreed to 155 last time. So yeah, that which is even worse. So yeah, man, I didn't even pay too much attention on it. But again, I didn't really pay too much attention for the whole build up of his fight, anyways. To be honest, because I wasn't invested at the time. But going forward, I will be invested if these two get it on. But final round, bro, probably one of the final round. I mean, this is probably gonna be nominated for Fight of the Year when we do our awards end of the year. But
Really nominated, yeah.
if we ever branch off into doing round of the year, that 12th round might well be in it too, bro. So from the opening, because we even said that this final bell, this final round, Ben's gonna go crazy. That's how I
Yeah.
think Eubank's gonna try and match him because Eubank wants to get him out of there. And that's the round where we finally see Conor Benn bust. And Eubank actually had the chance to get him out of there. But by then, I think Eubank was so tired that, bro, there was no steam with the punches. It was both knackered. But again, crazy dog from Benn and Hart because he could have gone down in that final round. A few times he was hurt.
Yeah.
And he stood strong. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he has a chin.
I will have to. I might give a credit to you back again, but look, when did he get that cut come out on his like the ninth
I
or
think 9th or
eighth,
10th. 9th or 10th, I
ninth or
feel like.
tenth,
Yeah.
and that's where you
Accidental
can see him
headbutt.
pouring it. Yeah, accidentally,
Yeah.
you can see him pouring at it during that round, and then he was like, it flipped a switch on him in that.
That's when he started to really, yeah.
Yeah,
Shades
he
of
was
Tyson
throwing up.
Fury.
Yeah, you start throwing, going into throwing, trying to get him out of
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and really leaving nothing to chance. He left it all in the ring. And yes, I don't think we've seen anyone bring that out of you. Like, we know he's a fighter, we know he's a survivor. We've seen him show heart against
You're right. We haven't seen that side
pros.
of him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we haven't
That
seen,
urgency of,
yeah,
okay, I need to knock you out now. Never done
mm,
that. Yeah.
like I'm gonna leave it all in there, throwing out over 100 punches
Yeah.
in like the last 2 rounds. Yeah, crazy work rate from him.
Yeah.
And yeah, shout out to both guys, man.
Yeah.
Entertained for sure.
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, throughout the fight, bro, I always thought that, look, as aggressive as Ben is, because Gren is super aggressive in there, if Chris Eubank just exerts pressure on this kid and just bullies him, he can really, fold him. And it took a while for Eubank to wake up to realize that, yeah, look, I can treat this kid. And even though he got the win, performance-wise, I still have to cook Eubank a little bit because, yeah, bro, like we said it. If you go life and death with Conor Benn, we have to cook you. And even
Yeah,
in the scorecards, I think it was all 116, 112, and I agree with the scorecards, which
yeah.
means on paper, you see it's wide enough. It's like, okay, cool, you kind of schooled him, which he did. He really was in a death match in there at one point.
He looked like
And
he could go.
he looked like a few times that he could go down or go.
Yeah,
So, and that I feel like that shouldn't be happening. Maybe I'm being harsh towards Conor Benn. People will say, because again, I
yeah,
was a fan of Conor Benn. Look, I know what Conor Benn brings and what he is. Pure aggression, activity from the first bell to the last bell. It's fun to watch, it's exciting to watch, but you still see he's still raw. He still has rookie traits that he does. And I just felt like Eubank should be skilled enough to keep this guy off him. I didn't anticipate the chin, to be honest. I didn't anticipate that. I thought that really Eubank could, if he wanted to, put this guy away. Even though I did predict a UD, I didn't think that Eubank could take such punishment. So that I was surprised by. But Eubank could have, I feel like he could have made better work of that, if you ask me. If they were to run it back, maybe he can make better work of it. I don't know. But yeah, credit to both fighters, bro, because it was an enjoyable fight and it gave me a great night's worth of entertainment. I know you want a rematch. We called for a rematch. I'm looking at both of the trajectories. Eubank isn't going to do anything at 160 pounds or 168, if you ask me. I know he's chasing the big fights. He's not going to win the world title. Let's be real. And the big fight is Canelo, really. And to be honest, who knows? Canelo could fight him because Canelo's fighting everyone but Benavidez right now. So, he fought Berlango the other day. So maybe Canelo, maybe he can get that Canelo fight, to be fair. He's probably thinking if Berlango can get it, I can. But apart from that, there isn't anything going for Chris. Let's be real. We saw Billy Joe Saunders trying to get in. Maybe that's probably going to get run back. You're shaking your head, but you watch. You'll see. Watch. Wouldn't be surprised if that gets run back. The public will love it. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that there isn't much going for him in terms of title aspirations and whatnot. Conor Benn, there is more going for him because he's younger. And he's in a division that's a lot weaker than 160 or 168 in my eyes. Outside the boots, champion-wise anyways, the other champions are, Norman Jr. and Mario Barrios. He can probably beat Barrios. Barrios is an easier route to a title than the boots or anyone else, really. So, yeah, he has that going for him. But to counter that, the money may be so hard to turn down. So, and we know in this sport, bro, we said it many times, money talks at the end of the day. So, if a rematch is shopped, I won't be surprised if both guys take it. And to be honest, because I don't really care for both guys like that, I'll take it. Take the rematch. I'll see that again for sure. Because that was entertaining, man. What about you? I'm guessing you echo the same sentiments as well. Rematch for you as well.
Yeah, I looked around that arena and I saw a packed arena. I saw people discussing it all day, all week, for the whole build up. I'm seeing how much money's involved. I'm seeing Turkey in the ring. I'm seeing live orchestras. I'm seeing the fathers in the ring walks.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, this is cash money, man. This is cash money. They've hit a gold mine with this.
Yep.
And I've heard there's a rematch clause. And look, right now, no one wants to see them go elsewhere. I don't want to, if you go fight a Barrios, you're not going to make the same kind of money you have here. The only thing that makes similar money for Eubank or more money is Canelo. Nothing else does that for him.
Yeah.
And it was such a good fight. They can ride off the high. They can run it back. The press conferences he sold, entertainment. Yeah, they can run it back. They should immediately ride the wave, ride it till the wheels fall off.
Strike while the iron's hot. Yeah.
Yeah. And then look, it builds their profile globally. We saw people tweeting from across
America.
the world.
Yeah.
Fighters looked in. So this might even help him get a Canelo Eubank. This will definitely help Benn build his profile. So yeah, they won. They won, man. I hold my hands up.
They beat us.
Yeah, they won.
Finally, before we switch gears to the undercard, what make of you of Eubank celebration? Dropping to his knees and exuberation. What make you that, Flowz?
I was disappointed. Look, I don't think
disappointment.
Yeah, I was just like, what are you doing? You should have won this. You should have acted like, yeah, this was easy work. I told you, rather than falling to your knees and acting like, oh yes, thank God. You don't have to remind him. But yeah,
that was funny.
Like, oh, yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That scene is hilarious, man. How can he put in his ear and he's like, yes, I'd like to thank Rastafari.
Yeah. I didn't like the celebration. He should have kept his persona in my sense, acting like, because you were talking about 60% and all this now, you win and you fall to your knees and you're emotional. You should have kept the persona and said,
I think
you're meant to do.
Look, I think it's some kid that, first of all, this boy can fight. He even said he didn't expect this from Benn. He said straight away, Ben surprised the hell out of him. He didn't know Benn was like this. So I think leading up to the final round and obviously that cut, and that's where it started going crazy. But after the bell went, I think he himself know that, I was in the flipping fight. I might not have won that, So all that pressure was on his
Yeah,
shoulders.
yeah.
So when they read out the result, he just sunk and said, "Thank God," because the corner of him, we said it's harsher for him. We said, in fact, if he loses, we said, don't box again.
Yeah, he had to. Yeah,
So
that's a fact.
I think at that moment he was under the most pressure, bro. So there's just a legit emotion just exploded out of him, which is mad. So yeah, that is cornerable because, like
Yeah,
you said, we should be cooking this guy easily. So yeah,
yeah, yeah. Anyway, run it back
run it back. Nice.
and
Well
do it
done,
better.
boys.
Do a better job.
Yeah. Let's talk about the undercard because there were some fighters on the undercard that we do like and what we very familiar with. We'll start with the chief supporter of the evening, Anthony Yarde, Lyndon Arthur. 3, the trilogy that no one really asked for, but yeah, I guess it was an important fight for both of them, especially at this stage of their careers. We both saw this. Bro, this fight was, I think, frustrating for me in portions because I'm seeing Anthony Yarde overwhelm Lyndon. I say overwhelm because he wasn't really overwhelmed, but I'm going to say overwhelmed for the opposite sense. Overwhelm Lyndon Arthur from an activity point of view and smother his own work. So the quality of work wasn't great to me at all.
Yeah.
Wasn't good. Meanwhile, Lyndon Arthur, who we know what his strengths are, high quality jab, fight on the outside, decent hand speed, good boxer, good counterer, but for some reason he was content to sit on the ropes or allow Yarde to put him on the ropes or in the corner, take all this pressure from Yarde, and defend well, roll the punches, block the punches, and then catch Yarde with great shots, great counter shots. Anytime like there was an opening, took some shots, but instead of following up on that and doubling up on that activity, he would then retreat back and do nothing. And it was frustrating. It was frustrating me from both ends because it's like, Yarde, take a step back. This is Sean Porter all over again. You're just smothering your work. Take a step back, take a breather, and try and pick your offense better. And at the same time, I'm thinking to the Arthur, why do you keep doing this? Because even though to me you're landing the better shots, and all night I will maintain, Lyndon Arthur landed the better shots for the entire fight. The cleaner and more effective work was Lyndon Arthur. And for me, yes, I've said before, I prefer cleaner, effective work just to work rate. However, what did I say, bro? When Arthur started doing this nonsense, I said straight away, look, he might be landing the better shots, but I guarantee you, optically, the judges are seeing this, and they're going to side with Yarde, the steward of the fight, because he's the one pushing the pace, and he's the one being aggressive. And just knowing how boxing judges tend to think, we tend to see more often than not them reward activity compared to semi-activity every now and again. Because, bro, there's a way that Lyndon Arthur could have done that and won.
Yeah.
Because the difference is, right, whereas, cool, he's finding openings in Yarde, you're meant to then, once you find those openings, then build on that.
Yeah.
He refused to. There were times even when Yarde paused to take a break because he was so knackered. And instead of going there, Arthur's still waiting and chilling.
Yeah.
You can't do that, bro, at this level and get away with it. You can't do that. You have to be proactive in there. He was landing good shots and being negative in that sense when he could have done what he was doing and been proactive at the same time. That's what I want to stress. So that was frustrating the hell out of me. And I said, if Lyndon Arthur loses this, it's because he's allowed himself to lose this based on the fact that Yarde was more active. And that's exactly what happened, bro. So yeah, very frustrating fight. But I feel like Arthur, if he was a bit more proactive in there, he would have been, walking away with his hands raised as opposed to Anthony Yarde.
Yeah, that's for sure. Look, it was even, I think the judges had it like 115, 113,
Yep,
and
that
then
was
two
one card.
116, 112. The other two. I think the other two had an agreement.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Look, going up to the scorecards, we were like, this is really close and who knows kind of thing. But
Yeah.
we felt Arthur gave it away by just allowing Yarde to be the aggressor. Because even in those exchanges, like we've spoke about Arthur, he doesn't mind the inside game. He enjoys it.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Strangely enough, he does enjoy it.
Yeah, he enjoys it and he's good at it. His problem is he doesn't have the power as such to really.
Yeah.
But he showed that he was good at it.
Mhm.
Because there was some rounds he won, where he chilling on the ropes and fighting on the inside. There was a few rounds he won, but optically, you were the one staying on the ropes, sitting there, allowing Yarde on top of you.
Yeah.
And even though we're seeing it with multiple camera angles, I don't know what angles the judges are watching it from.
They're seeing it from
and
one
how
angle.
they see it. Yeah.
But it's one angle. We can see loads of angles, so we can see when the shots are getting blocked and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they're seeing it from one angle, really and truly.
Yeah.
So
the cameraman's right there. We're seeing what's happening on the inside. We're seeing Yarde smother his work and not even land anything really too clean.
Really poor from Yarde, by the way, on that.
It's getting caught, but just coming forward still. The shots aren't backing him up. The shots aren't dissuading him.
And the difference in shots, by the way, because obviously Yarde is a powerhouse. So when he does land, even though it's not as frequent, you're seeing Arthur's body, rock or whatever. Whereas Arthur might land a brilliant shot, but Yarde is still right there. You know what I mean? So
and firing back, the shots aren't. And even when Yarde takes a step back because he's knackered, you're not going back to, because you were winning with the jab. Arthur was winning with the jab in the middle before Yarde started sticking on him. I think from the middle portion is where Yarde started to stick on him. You're winning with the jab. You never picked up your feet and thought, let me get back to that at some point to give the judges something else to look at. Make it win the round through scoring, not just win the fight, win the round through scoring points. Never done that. And even there was a moment in that fight where he got out and Yarde threw him back against the ropes.
So funny.
Grabbed him and threw him back there, and you went there.
You allowed it.
You stayed there. You're obliged. I was like, why are you obliging?
Yeah.
Like, don't fight his game, even though you're happy to. Fight your game, do the jab. Because you were landing the jab, and it's clearer to see. So I thought, look, I don't know how the judges are scoring this. This could be really close. This could be a draw, or whatnot. But it seemed like he squandered it through his game plan, and we saw Pat Barrett give him a bullocking. A bullocking for it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a shame because, like I said, it was there for him. And so many times when he could have spun away from the ropes, Yarde literally showing him the door, and he's refusing to oblige it. And like I said, the game planning from him, and like I said, I don't think it was Pat Barrett's game plan, because as you said, Pat Barrett laid into him one round. So I don't know what Arthur was thinking. Really, it was baffling me why he, again, maybe because he felt like he wasn't taking much punishment, which he wasn't. But he has to understand that you got to win the fight in the eyes of the judges. At the end of the day, what they want to see, and doing that optically just doesn't look the best for judges. So, man, I just want him to be a bit more proactive, but it is what it is. What next for both fighters? Because I guess we'll talk about it briefly, but the British light heavyweight division is still there. There's still people around knocking about. We saw Ben Whittaker in the crowd. I said, win or lose, we still need to see Yarde versus Buatsi. So Buatsi's coming off a loss, but it's a tough loss against a tough opponent in Callum Smith. But why not see if we can finally, now that Yarde's contract situation seems to have finally been sorted out, we should be able to see Yarde Buatsi now, surely. I say that, but we don't know. But that's who I like to see him fight next. I'm not too sure on Arthur. You said, Ben Whittaker, let's go. I don't know if you're being serious or not, but I guess you was being serious.
Look, I don't mind it. Look, I want them to all mix it in and fight each other. So Whittaker's in the mix. Get in there if you want it. We've highlighted Dan Aziz. There's options for all of them to fight each other. But we know Callum Smith is at the top of the power at the minute. So the others have to mix it in. Yarde, Buatsi, no excuse. I don't care. Whatever. Fight each other.
Just make it happen. Make it happen.
Yeah.
It's time now. It's about time. Word. There was a win for Aaron McKenna, Irish undefeated fighter, like I said, who we didn't know about, really, never seen before. Obviously, this is his biggest step in competition, fighting Liam Smith, who was obviously an ex-world champion. And over the hill, Liam Smith, I'm keeping it real, but still obviously has a lot of pedigree. And this McKenna kid, bro, killed Liam Smith from round 1 to 12, I think it was. Won every round. Absolutely schooled Smith. Again, I'm not, even though I want to add it, because part of it I think was because, yeah, it is a over the hill beefy. I've been saying that Smith should retire anyways. And I think, he might consider it now. But he was doing good things in there, using the use of angle. He's quite tall and lanky, well, he was compared to Smith, anyways. And he was excellent shot making. He was using his footwork well, angling him well. He was leaving Smith befuddled in there, bro. So, yeah, huge performance from this undefeated guy from Ireland. And I'll look out for him on future cards because he looked impressive against Smith. But yeah, Smith needs to, I think, call it a day now, man. It's done. It's done.
Yeah.
And let's see what else is there for him. But let's talk about Vidal Riley, Chef Clarke, bro. Obviously, we know you got a lot of stocks in Vidal Riley. This was we called it 50-50 last week, to be fair. And we thought it would be 50-50. Two contrasting styles. Obviously, Chef Clarke, even though it's coming off a loss, it was a tough loss. He was beaten by SD, but he gave a good account of himself. But we know what Chef Clarke brings in terms of he's powerful, he's strong. Whereas Vidal is a bit more technical, I feel like. Bro, from round 1, I think this is Vidal's first 12 rounder. The way Vidal schooled Chef Clarke, bro, I said, wow, what a performance. What a complete boxing performance, bro. Just from the footwork. And it's mad because the way the commentary were bigging up Vidal, like, there was serious, the way they were praising him, bro, it's like they knew he was this good. Like, yeah, man. Chef Clarke, unfortunately, got treated to a boxing lesson in there from Vidal Riley. And credit to Chef, he did do his best to try and close the distance and rough up Vidal Riley in there. But it just wasn't enough in the end, and there wasn't enough time. Vidal was able to utilize the jab and his amazing footwork on the outside, bro, to constantly pop Chev. The hand speed was better as well, so he was catching him anytime they tried to exchange. Vidal's landed 2 or 3, then out, distance perfectly judged, out, in and out, in and out. Danced around the ring in times, man. The footwork was so good from start to finish. Catching Chev with big shots. I can't say much of the shots were moving Chev like that, but there was all scoring shots, if that makes sense. And I think there was round towards the end, he was able to buzz him finally, which was good. He wasn't able to sort of build up on that, but he did buzz him towards the end. I think fatigue might have come into it at that point. But yeah, it was just a really comprehensive, mature boxing performance from Vidal, man. Definitely his best performance to date against a very good opponent, a dangerous opponent. So yeah, man, I think, like I tweeted, that's why you're so frustrated with him, because it's clear to see this kid has got a lot of talent, a lot of potential. He just has to stay active. That's it, man. Stay active, and the world's his oyster.
Yeah, I'm not much to add to that. Look, I called on him to show us that to keep showing us that he's ready and keep advancing through the levels, that this is a tough opponent. Show us you're better than Chef Clarke. Make everyone believe. I've been a believer for some time, but yeah, he needs to start moving quickly. And yeah, for my returns to come in, he needs to start moving quickly. But yeah, good performance, and he's a smart boxer as well. He's dad in his corner. Always keeps he'll box when he needs to box.
Yeah? Okay,
yeah, he'll box when he needs to box. He won't be drawn out easily, which I've noticed. He won't get drawn into a war when it doesn't need to be, unless he thinks he's going to get you out there. Yeah, impressive performance.
The only thing I'll say about Vidal, the only thing I'll say against Vidal is I think he's brilliant, great talent, clearly really good. So I'm a fan as well. Size. Chev, I mean, I know Chev is a huge cruiserweight, but he looked a bit small in there compared to Chev. And the power, I don't know if he will have the power going forward for certain guys, but he's such a good boxer that he might not. Obviously, you don't need power. If you're good enough as a fighter, you can box rings around someone for most of the fight anyways. So, yeah. Yeah, he might need to do a bit more filling out, but yeah, overall, so far, bro, he's great. So far,
he's great. He's not as big as the the big boys like William Smith, Riyad Paul,
Okoli,
Okoli. Um,
Chev was bigger than him as well, I think, in
yeah,
terms of like
Sheb's
just like yeah,
stockier. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
stockier.
yeah,
He's not small in the sense that he's not like he looks it, but he's actually
yeah.
he doesn't they don't dwarf him too much. But
Right.
he's not a big
Mm,
cruiserweight. He's
yeah.
not a big cruiserweight by any stretch. But once I think if you put him next to a
I
Bivol
think
or
he's just
someone,
okay, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, no, he'd be
uh,
bigger than them, I think.
yeah, like he's bigger than by like them lot. You start to
He might
appreciate
be
the
a
size that
shade
he's a
small.
cruiserweight.
I think he's a bit smaller than Opataya, who I don't consider to be a
Yeah,
big cruiser, to be fair.
yeah,
But yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So and Optai's got power, which
yeah.
which is key for him.
Yeah,
And he can box. But yeah, look, I don't think any of them man are seeing Optai, so we need Optai to
yeah. Word.
get on out of there.
It's Opataya and Zodo. That's it, really. The
Yeah,
rest, yeah. Um, but yeah, in terms of what's next, it'll probably be Chamberlain. They've already had back and forths. Barber teased that a little bit, so I think once he goes through Chamberlain, because he is going to go through Chamberlain, I'm not worried about that one. I think Chev was in terms of domestic rivals, but as in not champions, bar Bill and Smith and what I said, Chev was probably the most dangerous one, and he dispatched him easily. But after that, after Chamberlain, yeah, he should be calling the name of a Bill and Smith, and and gearing up for a title shot if he can. Um, but yeah, again, subject to who's got the belts at the time. Hopefully not Opataya. Hopefully Opataya's gone by then. Um, Speaking of Bill and Smith, I know he fought as well. I didn't actually check his result because I missed his fight.
he won. He won.
He won. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I
What UD?
think so.
KO? Okay.
I didn't watch it. I just saw the
No, I
result. I think
missed
he
it. Yeah.
won by
Okay, you did. Yeah,
a
you did
decision.
apparently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Yeah. Anyways, good card. Great main event. Good evening's worth of boxing. So yeah, I can't complain myself. And Benny, oh, Benny Eubank, run that back, boy. Run that back. Ben said they've got unfinished business, so yeah, make sure you run that back. Um, let's talk about this upcoming week, bro, because there are a lot of fights to discuss, a lot of big fights as well. We'll start with Friday the 2nd, Friday, May 2nd. Massive card in New York, bro. It's gonna be it's in Times Square, right?
Yeah.
Actually in open air Times Square, like first time
Oh,
they've ever done
swear.
it. Yeah, it
Okay.
sounds mad. The guy of the ring, the editor of the Ring magazine, described it to me, and it sounded nuts. Like I was like, wow, like how are they gonna pull this off? But yeah, they've got this fight out in Times Square, New York, and yeah, it's headlined by really it's 3 headline fights if we're keeping it a buck. The first fight is Ryan Garcia, Rolly Romero. We then got Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez. And then finally, we've also got Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza Jr. for Teofimo's debut, I think he's got. Let's start with Garcia versus Rollies. All these fights, I think they're all great fights, first of all.
Yeah, yeah.
Garcia versus Rollies.
That's
This is a
at
fight that,
147.
yes. Devin's also at 147. Yeah, so this is Garcia's welterweight debut. And Rollies, I guess, as well. It's a fight that I think Garcia asked for time ago. He's been trying to fight Rollies, as he calls him, and it's happening. I haven't really been following the build up to this, by the way, apart from the initial press conference. But yeah, this is Ryan Garcia, fresh off the ban, back in boxing. What are you expecting to see, bro?
Um, I don't even know. I'm thinking about. I don't know. Look, I expect Ryan Garcia to win. Is what I want to
Yes.
say.
Oh yeah, it's Rollies. Yeah.
I expect Ryan Garcia to win. But I expect a messy affair in in a sense.
Why, Flowz? Why am I envisioning wrestling and tussling?
Yeah. I'm expecting some hilariousness and stupidness.
Yeah, same.
That's just what I'm envisioning. Maybe it
It's
could
no,
be
it's
a
it's
good boxing match, but
it's the two characters, right? They're
yeah,
both yeah. I'm the same. I'm expecting some sort of some sort of nonsense that will be hilarious to watch for sure.
yeah. But I think Ryan Garcia is the better boxer.
Mhm.
And Yeah, Royce isn't good. It's the
Put it
truth.
simply, he's not good.
Yeah, he's not. So he'll be hoping to land one shot.
Mm.
Garcia's the better boxer, and he's got power too. So yeah,
Let's see if Garcia's learned anything, I guess, just from his time out and whether it's the same habits that he has, or not. We'll see. But it's good to have him back in the mix. He's a character, but also he has potential, has ability. So it's good to have him in the mix. But yeah, this is a nice, out of all the, as a comeback opponent, Rose is a good one. You can easily say, oh, ex-world champion, this, that, fought the likes of Tank. So yeah, we'd be interested to see if he wins that, which I expect him to. Um, let's talk about Devin Haney then, because the talk is obviously if Devin and Ryan win their respective fights, they'll get a rematch at 147 for their fight. But yeah, Haney's also fighting at 147. He's fighting Jose Ramirez, who we know was a ex-unified champion at 140, who is kind of, I guess, in that last chance but saloon in a way. He's coming off a loss to Arnold Barboza Jr., who's on this card as well.
yeah.
And yeah, he hasn't really been the same since, to be honest, since Josh Taylor beat him. Yeah, Ramirez hasn't really been the same, to be honest. Like I said, during his prime, a really good fighter, great fighter during his prime. But yeah, I just think that now he's kind of past it a little bit, and this is probably his last chance at a big fight. Um, Devin, I think the Devin fight's a lot more intriguing, or the Devin comeback is more intriguing to me than the Ryan comeback, based on obviously Devin went through hell against Ryan Garcia, as we know. What is he going to be like in his return? Are there still going to be demons from the Ryan loss from those left hooks? Because he ate a lot of left hooks. Or is Devin going to be back in his groove again? That is what's intriguing to me on this one. What about you, bro?
I think Devin's gonna wash Ramirez.
Okay. Yep.
I think he's gonna
I
treat
think
him.
he's
I
going to
think.
win as well. I'm
I,
interested to
th-
know how he would do it. Yeah.
um, I think he can find some solace in Ryan Garcia pissing hot. Um, and that kind of gives him vindication. I know people on his back for trying to sue or whatever. I'm not too interested in that. I think Ramirez ain't gonna do nothing to Devin. Devin's gonna box his head off is how I envision it. Just because Ramirez has been on a bad form, bad streak, and his style almost tailor made for Devin Haney to
Come forward stuff. Yeah.
yeah, to box him and evade him and make him
So,
miss. And,
so it sounds like you're anticipating the Devin returning to the Devin Haney of old. I say that in the sense of more the boxer, um, more evasive counter puncher, Devin. Because we have seen him attempt to be a bit more aggressive. Regis, for one, for example, he was a bit more aggressive. And Lomachenko come forward, try to sit in there in the pocket and bang. Are you anticipating him returning to, like I said, the more evasive boxer in that
I
sense?
think he's gonna start off that way, and
Yeah,
if Ramirez
yeah,
is fading, he's gonna
yeah,
get onto him and start
yeah,
sitting down on shots and
yeah.
pressuring him. Because Devon's always boxes with a bit of a chip on his shoulder. Well, not always, but more recently.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's asking, "How's my power?"
How's my
We've
power?
seen him. He asks questions like that.
So funny,
Um,
man.
try and stop people and not been able to, or yeah. So you see him try to be more aggressive in certain situations, and I think he will do the same. But I think he'll start off focusing on getting a win, and if he thinks that yeah, I'm treating him,
Yeah.
he's gonna
Okay.
try to go for it. I don't know if he'll get a knockout. I'm not gonna say that,
I'm not
but
anticipating that, but
yeah, but I think if he starts to feed himself, he'll try to go for it.
Mm, okay. Yep. Cool. The fight, I think that's probably the closest on the card, bro. Like I said, I'm quite confident Ryan and Devin win. Teofimo Arnold Barboza Jr. fight. Title fight, as we know. For Arnold Barboza, you know, won the sweepstakes into becoming mandatory for Teofimo. He went through along the way. Jose Ramirez to do that, and also Jack Catterall, who obviously we're a big fan of. And it was a great win in Manchester for Barboza Jr. Barboza Jr. is good, bro. There's no two ways about it. He's a good fighter. This is a dangerous fight for Teofimo, based on the fact that if Teofimo is Teofimo, who we know can come into fights ill prepared, not taking it seriously, he will lose. If it's the Teofimo that showed up against your boy Cambosos or the Teofimo that showed up against Sandor Martin, he could lose this fight because Barboza Jr. is a really competent boxer, skilled, good jab, good size, good footwork. Yeah, man, it could present a lot of problems for Teofimo. So I hope if my Teofimo on his A game wins this fight. But I don't know what Teofimo are going to show up, so I don't know. But I like to think that he will take this seriously because this will then mean future big fights for him at 140 that he's been chasing, that he's been trying to, I guess, unify with these other guys. I don't know, but yeah. Or he might look to move up to 147. I don't know. But yeah, Teofimo, I think it's pressure on him to win this, but he can't take Barboza Jr. lightly. I know there's been some beef between the two of them as well. I think Barboza Jr. is accused of ducking him for time. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see what Teofimo we get because again, I never know this guy. Press conference antics, he was on nonsense. He was being silly. So usually when he's silly in the press conferences, that means he comes with a bad performance. So I don't know why I'm on Teofimo. So yeah, intriguing fight
Yeah,
though for sure.
yeah. This is the good fight. I think it's the best fight.
Yeah,
The closest fight. Well, maybe because of Teofimo, just not knowing what Teofimo's gonna show up. But yeah, let's see. I'll once again decide in terms of talent, ability. Teofimo, if he performs at his best, should win.
yeah.
But we're also familiar with this other side of Teofimo that could very well lose. So yeah, it's whichever Teofimo turns up.
Word, word. Cool. But yeah, look, overall, I think it's a good card. I'm looking forward to it
Yeah,
still. I think it's definitely a good card. And yeah, we'll see what happens. May the 3rd is Cinco de Mayo weekend after all. So obviously, Mr. Canelo will be in action. Let's talk about his fight. He's fighting for this, and again, this is an undisputed fight, by the way.
yeah.
Can't forget that. Even though it's a fake undisputed fight, because William Scull is holding the belt that Canelo used to have. Canelo vacated this belt because the mandatory, I think, at the time for him to fight was William Scull. And,
Mhm.
and Canelo didn't want to fight the mandatory, so he dropped the belt. And then William Scull fought for the vacant belt, won the belt, and now Canelo's going to go into fighting for the undisputed. So it's just an easy way for Canelo to get his belt back, really, without paying the sanctioning fees at the time, I suppose. I don't know if this was always the plan, but yeah, it's Skull. No offense, I think Skull might be. Is he undefeated? Um, let me get his let me just get his resume up. Um, William Skull, Cuban fighter, but based in Berlin. Yeah, 23 wins, nine by KO, zero losses. Um, only name of only name of note is probably Shishkin, who he beat for the title. Look, man, sorry, hermano, but you're gonna get killed. Probably it is what it is. He's not expected to pull up any trees against Canelo. Cuban, so he's probably a good boxer, but the fact that he's got 32 wins, 9 KOs probably tells me he's a good boxer. But it's Canelo, man. Canelo ain't gonna. A Cinco de Mayo weekend? Nah. Canelo losing this fight? Nah, it's not happening. So yeah, it's probably going to be a routine win for Canelo on this one. Won't be surprised if he stops him. Um, yeah. Look, man, with Canelo, it's very simple, bro. Every time I talk about Canelo, you know who I want to see? Canelo versus Benavidez. Canelo's ducking Benavidez. He doesn't want to fight him. Um, it's pretty much set in stone, I think, that after the Skull, if he beats Skull, it's going to be him versus Crawford. That is the talk. Again, a fight that I don't want to see personally like that, but if it's made, I'll be there, obviously. But yeah, Canelo, stop ducking Benavidez. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about Canelo. Stop ducking David.
Yeah, number two. All I'm familiar with William Scull is more recently Nigel Benn. said Conor Benn gave him hell in sparring. Sounds
Oh
like he
yeah,
stops him
yeah,
in sparring.
yeah.
Badger
Apparently, he stopped him
Benn's
aspiring. Yeah,
parading that all week, all fight week.
yeah.
Now I don't take too much into sparring.
Mm.
Don't really care for it. But if it's even remotely true, even let's say the fact that Conor Benn can come out and say he had good sparring with you shows me you're not ready for Canelo. That's all I need to know. I don't
I'm
care who
screaming.
won. I
I'm screaming.
don't care. The fact that Conor Benn, you were sparring partner for Conor Benn, and Canelo is lined up for you,
Mhm.
and Conor Benn's coming out feeling positive about it. Yeah, yeah. Because I promise you, Conor Ben ain't feeling positive about sparring Canelo.
Word, word, word. Yeah. Um.
Um, that,
Yeah.
yeah, that's that. Um, but look, David Benavidez seems to be on a completely different path now.
He's champion now, isn't he? So yeah.
Yeah, I would have. I think I said this before. I would have liked him to see him stick it on Canelo a bit more, stay where he's at, follow him,
Yeah.
grab the belt that Skull had. Um, but fair play to
Force that.
Benavidez.
Yeah.
Yeah, proper lead, force it, and give Canelo nowhere to go. But he's decided to do his own thing. So shout out to Benavidez.
Arguably, bro, he's now on a harder path
Yeah,
because
he
now
is. Yeah,
he's on the crossroads, collision course leading towards either Paternity or Bivol. That's harder, if you ask me. So,
well, they were saying Bivol vacated, didn't he?
yeah, I
That
think Bivol vacate. Yeah,
Benavidez, Bivol vacated so he could have the trilogy. I think that's the plan.
yep. Uh-huh.
I'm not mad at that. Um, I'm not mad at the trilogy. But yeah, I think Benavidez
That's
deserves
exactly what
some form
happened.
of
That's
shot.
that's exactly what happened with Usyk, innit? That when he fought Fury the second time, I don't think it
Yeah,
was all about something. He vacated to allow the
yeah,
trilogy to happen. So,
yeah.
yeah,
So
um, yeah, um.
uh,
But yeah, don't really care for Canelo Skull. And if it's not Canelo Benavidez, I'm not too excited for the Canelo opponents the opponents get thrown Canelo's way. So that's likely going to continue for a while now. Now that Benavidez has established himself at light heavy. Undercard's interesting though, bro. Just to touch on it quickly. Um, Badu Jack is fighting for the cruiserweight title again.
cruiserweight, wasn't he? What's he go? What did he move up to? Bridgerweight, didn't
So
he?
this is the title that he won. He never lost it though. He vacated because he then said he wanted to try his hand at Bridgerweight.
Yeah.
I can't remember if he fought at Bridgerweight. He didn't fight for no titles up there. He then
Okay.
came back down, and I think was then uh reinstated as champion. I think maybe, but yeah, he's fighting the guy called Noel. Hang on, let me get the guy's name. Um, he's fighting the guy called Noel Mikhailian, who actually was the original holder of that title, but it was stripped of a title before. So that was actually his belt, which he never lost. It's WBC are just doing WBC things, but
Wow.
Mikhailian is actually a late replacement. He's actually Jack was meant to fight a guy called Rozicki, I think. Yeah, Rozicki, but Rozicki got injured, so they put this Mikhailian guy in, who was the former champ as well. So yeah, Jack is still going. I don't even know how old Buddy Jack is now. Almost 40, surely.
See, what
But
I need right now is Badu Jack or whoever to win and Vidal Riley to fight the winner.
I'm
That's
screaming.
what, that's what I
that's
need right
that's a
now.
fast track
This
right
year.
there.
This year. Make it happen. Next. So I can cash it. So I can cash it. Yeah, whatever. Vidal, that's your route. Right
That's your
there.
route right there.
Badu Jack. Avoid Zodo, avoid Opatai, go
Yeah.
directly down this route to
But
whoever wins.
before those other two try go, yeah.
Start calling them out now.
Yeah.
Now, empty the fact. Now, call them out immediately from today. Skip Chamberlain, go to the fight, pull up to the press conference, enter the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it. I
We've
need
also
it.
got Jaime Munguia, Bruno Suras. He's got to get Jaime, you got to get back in blood.
Yeah.
Jaime, if you don't stop this guy in 3 rounds, you failed. You have to get it back in blood. Suras cannot see the final bell. That's what I'm going to say. Because what he did to you in your own home turf was peak. So yeah, Jaime Munguia has to get it back in blood. which I'm sure he will, because up until that freak knockout, let's be real, he was killing him. He was killing him. And then we've also got Martin Bakole versus F.A. Ajagba. That's an interesting fight. Bakole,
Right.
yeah, Bakole obviously will have a full camp this time. We knew Turkey was going to, bless Bakole after he stepped in late. So that was nice of him. Yeah, let's see. He should be in shape this time, or better shape. And Ajagba, I think, is coming off a couple of good wins, I think. So, yeah, good fight there still. That's definitely not going the full 12. I'll be shocked if it does.
Yeah. Interesting. How Bakole didn't get knocked out too long ago, so interesting to see he's back so soon. But yeah, good fight.
Yeah. To be fair, it wasn't like I think it was it that heavy of a stoppage. To be fair, I don't know how heavy it was. But it
looks like
it looked worse than it was. But
Friday's brain, whatever happened, delayed. He went down. Yeah. But I think it was down to conditioning and not preparation and
100%
being on
conditioning.
planes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was in February, the Parker knockout in Feb. So yeah. Yeah. And I think Ajagba is since he lost to Sanchez, I think he's on a run of 5 wins. So yeah, I'm just trying to see who his last opponent was. These are guys I don't really know, to be fair. But yeah, he's in decent nicks. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Finally, bro, we have an American debut for the monster, Naoya Inoue. This is going to be his 4th defense of his undisputed super bantamweight crown. He's up against I think he's American, but obviously Latino descent, Ramon Cardenas. I'm trying to see his resume. Yeah, 27 fights, 26 wins, 14 by KO, 1 loss. Yeah, bro. There's no one in his resume I recognize at all. No, his opponents, none of them have Wikipedia pages. This is gonna be a murder. In a way, it's gonna be. In a way, fight previews don't last long, listeners, for a reason. The fact that he knocks everyone out. Let's be real. And he's gonna do this guy. Look, this is his debut in America. I know who he's gonna want to put on the show. I know. So Cardenas, good luck. That's all I'm gonna say. You're on mute, by the way, bro. You're on mute.
My bad. Yeah. Look, just try to survive. Try to get stopped late. That's the best you can hope for.
Try to get stopped late. It's hilarious, by the way.
Try to.
Yeah, that's what my man did, innit? Who was it Butler? That was
whatever his name. I remember. Yeah. What's
the British guy?
Yeah, Butler.
Paul Butler, no? Yeah. That got stopped, but he got stopped late and he was happy.
Yeah. They said first round. I think he got stopped in 11th or later.
Yeah, he said, they told me I was going to get first. Yeah. Flex. I always say this. Look, I always say flexing that you got stopped in the 11th is insane, but within a way, I understand. So yeah.
I think TJ Duffy as well. Was he proud to get stopped when he got stopped, like the 7th?
Yeah, I think something like that. Yeah.
Look, it's something to boast about. Not getting stopped. Yeah, just try not to get stopped early, and you've won.
Oh, cool. Just before we go, Flowz, I think it was announced today. I don't know if we haven't discussed it, but big heavyweight news. Daniel Dubois, Alexander Usyk has been confirmed. I think, is it July?
19th.
19th of July in Wembley, no?
Yep.
Wembley, 19th of July, undisputed on the line. Yeah, good fight, man. Good fight. Don't know, we might have to go for that still, but yeah, top fight. If Usyk wins, like again, just the Hall of Fame resume. Imagine beating AJ, Tyson Fury, and Dubois twice on your resume. Crazy.
Undisputed again, it will be as well.
Yep, undisputed again. Yeah, man, we'll see. We'll talk about it. Obviously, but your initial reaction, happy the fight's been made?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think I called for it that do this and then you could retire. Now I think the boy deserves a shot at undisputed for his run, and I guess the backstory is there.
Controversy.
Yeah, a lot of people really bought into that controversy, and Daniel Dubois come on leaps and bounds almost since then as well. So yeah, I guess it's interesting.
full of confidence. Usyk's gonna have to keep him off him. That's all I'm gonna say.
Just remember that Usyk stopped the listeners. Usyk stopped him last time. So look, I do the bars on the run. He's changed. He could do it. Let me know say he could do it, but if he does do it, insane. It is insane if he does. Yeah, we'll give our predictions and breakdowns when it comes around, I guess.
Lovely stuff. Cool. Let's call it a day then, bro. I think we can, wrap it up. This is episode 245 of the Strap SZN podcast. Once again, your boy, Kam.
I'm your boy, Flowz.
And as always, you know where to find us on the streaming platforms. Rastafari.
I'm taking a strap. I'm strapped up.
Devin, what was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.